Hi, welcome to the Vaguely Anime Podcast. I am one of your hosts this evening, Michael, followed by other host, Kat.
Hello.
And other host, Sage.
That's me.
And it's Anime Club.
Woo! The figures exist.
They
The
do.
figures are here.
It's been
So for
almost 2 years.
Yeah. So for that the 3-shot or the me and Kat shot and Sage saw, you just got blurry stuff, but the wide shot's fine, which I also have to fix, and I've just realized this. So Kat, while you're talking,
Sure.
you want to introduce the show? I fixed the shot.
Yeah, so we watched season 2 of ReZero. How long ago did we do season 1? A year ago?
9 months ago, at least on when we posted it.
Okay,
Because I
yeah,
watched
yeah.
that episode today so that I could
up.
catch up on myself and my
'cause I
own
remember
opinions
last
of
time
season
you're like,
one.
why didn't I like this show? And I'm like, I don't know. I just remember you
So I
did
decided
not.
today that I was like, let me re-listen to what
Uh-huh.
we had said so I could catch
Give-
myself up and be like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
that's what I was thinking.
That's why I hated the show.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, so this is just a continuation of the first story. The first episode of the season literally
Right,
starts up
immediate
Yeah,
continuation.
exactly where it is. Trying to
Which I
think
kind of appreciate that there's no
gap. There's
no oh, well, while we were gone, this
Yes,
is what was going
exactly.
on.
It's just like, oh no, you
Just
get to
jumps
just find
right
out.
in, yeah.
And all of the episode, I don't know if every single episode of them, but I don't know if you noticed.
There was no intro outro.
They're all like a half hour long instead of like the normal
Yeah.
24 minutes with an intro and outro. They're all like 29 minutes, no intro, sometimes an outro, sometimes intro.
I did notice that, and at first I thought I was tripping. I'm like, am
Nope.
I high?
The show has so much detail that they
that's
need
what
to
I
get
thought.
in.
That's what I assumed because
They
I was like,
kept
there's just too
Very,
much.
very packed
They
season.
kept getting in trouble because they would be because this aired on TV, obviously in Japan,
Right.
so
And they were
it
going
would be going
past
into
their
other
time slot.
Yes, and then so they really do anything and everything they can to make sure they
Right.
get it because they have a story to tell and they need to do it, which I appreciate. But 25 episodes.
I mean, it's kind of nice too because there's when you go into the next episode, there's no previously on. Which when especially if you're binging a show,
Exactly, you're like, please.
I don't need that.
Exactly.
Obviously, for week to week, I could understand why you would do it.
Yeah,
but I
to
think
remember.
in terms of this, I like just how fluid. It's like watching almost a movie as opposed to a television series.
Yeah, it's they also do the thing if sometimes when they have the outro, they're playing the song while they're talking. I mean,
they were doing that in season 1 as well.
Yes,
a lot.
They do that. But
they
love
always had the
that.
intro.
It
Obviously,
always
in season 1. Yeah.
really puts the emotion into
I
it.
love.
Yep.
I think that's such a good editing choice because it just really hits home the final moments.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I feel like most is spoilers, because it's just a continuation.
Right.
So
and I
that's
think
kind
there's a
all
lot
I
of
can sum it
dense
up.
stuff happening.
Yeah.
As opposed to, I feel like in season 1, there was obviously stuff happening,
But
but
they
there was a
really-
lot of more setup in
Yeah,
season 1.
they did a good job of really bringing you in and understanding what's about to happen for then season 2 to drop, and they're like, okay,
Yeah.
we're just gonna keep doing it.
We hope you watch season 1
Yeah.
because there's literally no explanation.
You need
for
to know
what's
where
going
you
on
are
now.
and what's
Yeah.
happening. So
It did take me a minute because I was like, oh shit, I have to remember a lot of stuff real quick.
So what's interesting about this? So it has 2 different parts. I can't believe it aired 2 years ago. I can't believe it's already been that long.
When did the first season air? Sorry.
18.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there was a big, not
21.
that big of a gap, but
Or 18 to 20.
yeah. But I actually don't think that I ever watched the second part of season 2, and I thought I did all this time because while I was rewatching, because I watched it when it came out, and I guess I just never watched the second part of season 2 because since that came out the next season, you know how they do the gap.
Oh yeah,
So they did
part
that.
a season 2 part A, part B kind of
Yes,
thing.
They did that. And I think I watched the first episode of the second part and literally the last episode because I remember that Ryan was bringing up to me stuff and I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, did you even watch the show? And I was like, no, I did watch the show. I remember this conversation happening with him and he was like, but you don't remember this. And his favorite part, which I won't spoil, but it has to do with Beatrice. He loves
Right.
that whole thing. And he was talking about that. I was like, what are you talking about? And I remember him playing the episode for me. So I literally think that I watched the first and the end thinking that I watched everything else because when I was rewatching I remembered the first part, but then when I got to the second part I was like, What's happening? Who are these people?
When you say like the first and second part, do you mean like episodes 1 through like 12 to 13 to 13 to 25?
Yes,
Okay,
exactly. And so
I was
just
like, am I forgetting
no,
something?
no. So I literally don't think that I even
Consumed the whole season.
I was like, what is happening? I literally don't remember. And like I said, when we were talking about Breaking Bad, like there's stuff that I don't remember. But if I was to watch Breaking Bad again, I would start to remember the things.
Right.
I just can't off the top of my head give you stuff. So that's why, because like I rewatched the first part and I remembered it,
Right.
even if I couldn't at that moment give it to you. But then when I was watching the second part, I was like,
The fuck is
no,
going
dog.
on?
Like I was like, I have no idea what this is.
Never saw this before
So
in my
I literally
life.
think I'd never watched it. So thank God I decided not to be like, oh no, I remember it, and rewatch it, because I would have been really fucking confused.
I would have been sitting here just yapping away, and
know,
you'd be
and I'd be
like,
like-
"What are you
I
talking
was like,
about?"
did we watch the same show? Season 3 came out and I didn't know. You just watched that. But yeah,
I went to the future.
and you found out.
Yeah.
Though people are saying, rumored, that season 3 is going to be delayed because White Fox took on like a bunch of more animes
That's
coming out.
the studio.
Yeah, so they're getting like pushed back. But when I was looking at it on Twitter, I didn't see an actual article, so I don't know if that's actually true. But they
you
were
think
saying,
it's just talk?
yeah, they were saying, but also I would rather them push it back and spend more time on it than like take all of these shows on and like rush it.
Right,
so,
and make it shitty.
Yeah, so I don't know. But we can go on to review. Do I start or you start?
I start.
Okay.
Generally, I'm also just like looking at how I was like looking at it beforehand. I think that it takes what story was there from the first that was already like really strong, and I think just decides now we're just gonna detail overload everything, but like in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
Because Amelia is much more of an actual person than she was in the first season. That's just like she's there. That's it. That's why, like, when people were like, "Oh, she's best girl from the first season," I'm like, there was nothing to her. So you just
but
want a
she-
stick figure.
No,
You want a girl that's like he.
Well,
And that's it.
That's very much a thing. But she's just so adorable and wholesome that it was. But I
No.
do
while
like the
while
human
I can understand that
perspective.
those are appealing attributes, I feel like for best girl status,
Right.
you have to do like a little more work. You know what I mean?
She didn't
Ye-
have to for me.
Well,
Well, it's
So,
okay
I
that
was
you're.
one of those.
It's okay.
sorry
that
you
you're
have
wrong.
bad taste.
Yeah. When you have Rem out here being the fucking baddest bitch ever and doing everything in the world for Subaru.
Even though he doesn't
It's
deserve
so
it, high
sad.
key.
He doesn't
It's
deserve
so
it at
sad.
all. No.
Like high key.
No. And then she gets screwed over by it.
Yeah.
But like either way, I think if you like season 1, you're probably just gonna like season 2 even more. There's just so much more going on. It's honestly kind of hard to keep up sometimes, though. There's just so fucking much. But yeah, I mean, I think it's probably a bit better than season 1 in my own opinion.
I also feel like it was better than season 1, but I feel like, and I don't remember if I had this same complaint for season 1, because I don't remember me saying that in like the first season that we went over, but I feel like it was just a little bit too long.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think if they had cut it down to 16,
Well, it was 2 parts. So,
Right.
like, people were
I guess
consuming
to
it
watching it in the
less.
2
Yeah.
parts, that does make sense. So maybe
You
it
just
was
had to binge it.
maybe
for
it was
Anime
in the way
Club.
that I was watching it in like 1 week or whatever,
Mhm.
however long I took to watch it, 2 weeks.
It is
right?
a lot, especially
Um,
because they are full half-hour
It's
like
so
episodes.
much
Yeah.
stuff happening to kind of consume and like analyze, but I felt like I did notice at certain points where I felt like there were little like things here and there where I feel like they could have cut that out
Mhm.
and you wouldn't have really missed anything or lost anything from cutting it out. And like some of it felt a little bit too much like padding for me, where I was like, I can see why you put it in there, but I don't know that it was wholly necessary.
Yeah, so it's a light novel and a manga.
Right. So they're are they trying to adapt both at the same time?
I don't really know. I think the manga adapts the light novel and then the show adapts to
The
the
manga?
manga,
Okay.
I think. But so I know that they have a lot of stuff and I know that they are trying to like follow the whole thing. So I feel like that's why like it just
No,
kinda-
it adapts from the light novel.
Oh, it does?
Both of them do.
Oh.
So maybe they're just trying to like do it as one.
That's
to
usually
one,
the case.
Yeah.
1-to-1 as they can.
Yeah.
As opposed to like something like Harry Potter where, you know, they have to obviously cut out a lot
Yeah.
of information because it's a film and you only get, 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually the case that they follow the original thing, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But yeah, so I felt like it was just a little bit too long. And again, that could have just been from the way I viewed it in not 2 parts, like you were saying how it originally aired. I will also say Mealy is still a fucking disgusting, horrible,
I hate it.
like
I've
pet
always
name,
hated it.
like actual jail. And I forgot that was even her nickname.
Until he.
And
you
then,
messaged
I was saying
that.
this in our group chat where in the first episode, it's like literally like ReZero season 2, and then immediately hits you with the Mealy, and I'm
Yeah.
like, jail.
No,
Send
I
this
hate
man
it.
to prison.
Hate
Truly awful. And Amelia, definitely not best girl material.
So who's your best girl?
Probably the worst girl. Okay, after this season, because Rem just is in a fucking coma the whole season, so like,
Whoa, spoilers.
Spoilers.
oh, sorry. Sorry.
Well, I mean, you're less.
I already said it.
We could just go into spoilers.
Yeah, we
So
can
just put the spoiler earlier.
Yeah, just
Okay.
put it right as I start talking. But yeah, so she's in a coma the whole time. So like, sorry, but you're not in the competition. You're not in the race. Like, I don't want a fucking.
All right, hold
corpse.
on. If we're talking about it in terms of like a race analogy, she's already run like 20 miles of the marathon.
While yes,
now that and
while,
everybody
yes,
else is
she's
still at
already
like
done a
mile
marathon.
5.
Yes,
Like,
but she has already done
just
a
because she's in a
marathon.
coma at mile fucking 24 doesn't mean that everybody else just fucking
But
passes her.
I wouldn't say that her being a simp and doing anything for him necessarily means that she ran this much further.
It absolutely makes
So-
because she's the
but
most developed character.
It just depends on what the fuck you like. Because if you just want a submissive girl, then like she's perfect. Like,
She's not even submissive. She beats the shit out of like him multiple times.
the way that I'm not talking about them, but like her, like even at the beginning when she's like, "I'm doing this for my hero Subaru," I wanted to throw up just because I don't really like Subaru. Nothing against Rem. I
Right.
love Rem.
Okay.
Like this isn't about Rem.
Subaru's just not worth
It's
it.
about it's about it being for Subaru. That's
Right.
the problem.
So, but my for me, like the whole time, best girl kind of thing. For most things, I never consider it who I think is the best girl for the main character, right? Because I don't, for the most part,
Yeah,
care.
I think
Yeah.
Rem is just the best.
So in season 1, I thought Rem was the best girl, primarily because I thought she was really cute. I loved her character design, can fight well, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? And on a heavy part of that, she was the only girl getting development.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like a fully developed person versus a cardboard box. You know what I'm saying? But then in season 2, it's like, okay, this fully developed person is now a corpse. So we got to move on. We got to cut our losses. You know what I mean? So I feel like for me, I really liked Frederica. I thought she was really cute. I felt like Beatrice really went up for me as well. I really
Beatrice
liked
is great.
yeah.
her character. And then, I don't know if this is controversial, but the Witch of Greed, the one with the white
like
hair,
Echidna?
loved her the whole time.
I think Echidna's so fucking ugly.
No, I do
When
not think she's
I
ugly,
s-
but I would not. I would not.
I hate her white eyelashes.
I
think.
love
wait,
her character design.
Can I show you a screenshot?
I will say most of the time white eyelashes do bother me, but I do not think she is ugly.
Oh
No,
my god!
it doesn't let you take this. I tried taking a screenshot while I was watching the show, and it doesn't let you. When
Sad.
her fucking dead body, they look at it. I don't know if you noticed, but the way they did her nose, she's disgusting. Like I don't know why they did it. Like, can you pull up the episode? I think
She's
it's the last episode.
disgusting.
Disgusting. I tried to take a screenshot and I didn't look at it because I was watching the
That's
show.
so
and I thought I had
funny.
it, but stupid Crunchyroll doesn't let you take screenshots.
That's
so, I can't.
so
it's just a
fun.
black
When they're
screen.
like talking over her like casket
Yes,
or whatever.
Yeah, when they're talking
What
over
episode?
her.
It's
the
the last episode.
When they're talking over her casket.
That's
And
so
they're like,
funny.
"Oh,
I didn't even
teacher,"
notice that.
And it goes up under her face. And it's like. So it's like her normal, like, eyes closed, features,
Right,
white
right,
hair.
right.
And then they just drew a nose. Like, nose. Like, I'm like, what is that?
I didn't even notice that. But yeah, I don't know, something about her. I was like, "Ooh, I like you. You're interesting."
I think she's definitely interesting, but I just don't like.
Oh, I love her character. You know what it is?
I like everything except for the white eyelashes. I think if she didn't have white eyelashes, I'd like her more.
The thing I like the very kind of like bleached look, right? She just
like
feels
albino.
Yeah, like, but she
no
just
red
feels very like ghostly, and like otherworldly.
I do love her like dress,
right?
Like I think that's really
I
nice.
think that's what it is. Like I love the all white hair, the super white bright skin, and then like obviously like the white eyelashes, which I know you don't like, but I feel like it would be weird if they gave her black eyelashes. You know?
I don't know. When I saw her before the show came out, I was like, ew. Like, I was literally with Ryan. I was like, who the fuck is that? I was like, disgusted. I was like, what is that? I was like, they're like
disgusted.
I was like, they're like an ugly Amelia. I was like, who the fuck is that? Like, I remember going off and Ryan was just like, that's echidna. I was like, what's wrong with it? Because he likes echidna.
Me too.
He has like I bought him like an echidna figure.
Right.
It's cute. It's whatever. And I was like, oh, I was like, I was so disturbed by her face. Mind you, I've gotten better. It doesn't really
right.
Like, she's
but
just
that's
not for
so
me.
funny.
But when I first saw her, like before I watched the show, I just saw her. I was like, ugh, what is that? What am I looking at? I hated her. I was like, disgusting.
But yeah, I feel like Frederica is definitely. In
really
terms
like
of this
Frederica.
season, like I just really like her character. I think she's very spunky. Like she has a lot of personality.
But there she is.
Oh, let me see the nose.
Good old
oh my god!
Can you like hold it?
Okay, so I didn't notice that when I was watching this.
It's gonna come across. It's
But-
like mostly, I think it's just the shadow of it.
It is the shadow. They made
Tilt
it
it
look
forward?
really weird.
No, you can
Yeah,
barely
it's
see
not
it.
gonna
I
work.
don't
They
know.
made it look
I can figure it out.
very sure. You know what it is? It's too 3D.
Like, it's,
Does that make sense?
I don't know. Like, it's just her normal shit and then just,
Yeah,
Like-
they just gave her like a very
they
3D
did her
nose.
so dirty. It's so horrible.
But yeah,
I only noticed that this time of watching.
I didn't even notice when I was watching, to be
God, so
completely
awful.
honest. But that's really now that you've mentioned it, like I can't unsee it.
Right?
You know what I
I'm just
mean?
like, what?
What
What
is
did
that?
they-
It's a terrible choice. They
They're
did her
just like,
dirty.
Teacher, mother, like, and then they're just having this moment, and then it's like, it's just the most.
The fucking
Oh
atrocious
my God,
nose.
so bad.
But yeah, so I think Frederica definitely best girl for me in terms of this season. Not for
Well,
Subaru.
lots of people do pick Echidna. They
and,
like them together. Ship them. I know you say you don't care about like for
right.
the main character.
And then I would
but-
say Echidna, and then Beatrice, and then Rom. Although, if we're in spoilers, can I just like?
Yeah, we're in spoilers.
Okay, great.
Whatever.
Rom towards I don't remember what episode specifically this is. Maybe like in the last 4 episodes, where
She's confessing her love.
she's confessing her love for
But you
Roswald.
knew that she loved him in the first season.
No,
Yeah, we
I
did know
knew
that.
that she loved him, right? Like that part
but
wasn't
mind
surprising.
you, that's absolutely Stockholm syndrome. Like 1000%.
So
I didn't like it.
No, I didn't like it either.
Yeah.
And I was like, girl.
Especially when he was even admitting, being like, no, you detest me, like you despise me, like you vowed to kill me. Like,
I was
what are
like-
you talking about?
I was
And
like,
then she's
girl,
like,
you
yeah,
deserve better for yourself. Like,
I
stop
felt
it.
like that then, but now, like,
I realized.
and I'm like, ugh, like it's just wrong.
And so I'm like, you can't be trying to give me this like weepy crying confession, right?
Yeah.
In this moment. Like I want, like I'm rooting for it. You
I
know what I
know.
mean? Because first of all, I wasn't. And second, I was kind of hoping she would get with Garf.
But then you find out Garf's 13 years old.
He's 14.
No, he's turning 14.
Oh, no, I
But
thought he was 14.
Isn't Rem also?
No, they said he's gonna be 14.
Aren't,
Oh, I
aren't
thought
they
he was.
also
Okay.
still young?
I think they're like
No, they're at least
18.
They
Aren't
have to
they?
be at least bare minimum 18
Google
because
it.
she has been working for
Well, yeah, but they're demons.
Roswald.
I've thought that their ages
Google
You're
were.
it.
right, but she's been at least working for Roswald for 10 years, and I think they were already adults when they started, or
No,
quote unquote adults, or
they've
they
been
started
there
as
since
kids.
Yeah,
No,
you
they're
see them
they're
first.
17 to 18.
Okay,
In this one, they're 18.
First and second arc, they're 17.
Okay. So, I think this is past that.
so
they're
at this
18.
point she would be 18.
Yeah.
But I just
Probably why she can confess now. To
I
Rosal,
guess,
'cause,
but
they really care about that over there.
right. But you know what I mean? I just felt like they had like a more playful, better
No, I definitely liked
interactions
them too.
together.
And I feel like they almost bait you that she almost feels the same way about him, like later when he has his development.
Right,
like,
right.
And
so
then
I
it's
thought
like,
that was gonna go
yeah.
somewhere, and
I
that's
thought so,
doubly
too.
why I was like so taken aback when she's confessing her feelings for Roswell, because I was like, whoa,
But the whole
this is
season-
not what you guys were
The whole
leading
season
up to.
they talk about it and they're like, oh well, she doesn't really like guys like you. Like she likes guys with clown makeup. Like they say it the whole time.
I know.
It's like Roswell's also just the worst.
Yeah, I mean he has his little moment at the end.
He sucks.
His oath.
He
He's like he's a
sucks.
good guy now.
He sucks.
I don't know.
Roswell
I
sucks.
thought that was okay. So when that happens and he's like, no, I swear I'll never betray you guys again. I am so good now, right? I'm like, bitch, you spent the literal entire season terrorizing everyone.
Yeah.
Like you cannot
Like
tell
this
me
is your fault.
You can't tell me in the last 5 minutes of this season that you are
But
going to
he
be
did.
good now.
He did. He did.
Like, I can't handle
It
it.
happened.
He sure did.
Yeah.
Like I'm like if, and that's what's like weird for me in the show in general. They do things of being like, okay, this is where the story is going, based off of like context clues and like how we're setting things up,
Yeah.
moving people around, and then randomly they'll be like, JK, throw all of that out the window. We're doing something else now.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Roswell sucks, and like he's great, but he sucks.
Yeah.
But let's be real here. We're glossing over the greatest character of all the seasons of ReZero, Otto.
Okay,
Best
so
boy Otto.
you know what's funny during our season 1 discussion, I had said that I did not like him, but this season really made me change my mind.
Best boy.
He is
Yeah.
trying his absolute best.
He's so wholesome.
Protect him at all costs.
And then
I take back whatever negativity that I had spread previously.
He's so wholesome. He's trying his best, and all he wants is for a friend.
And he
he's
talks
like,
to animals.
Yeah.
What a useful skill.
and then he gets his moment with his big speech at the beginning of part 2, right? It's the beginning, I think.
I don't remember where it is.
Where he like is like, my guy.
Oh, where he's
Or like,
saying
yeah.
to Subaru, I don't know if that's like right at the beginning, but that's definitely in like the first part, if you will.
Yeah, like
the
he
first
gives the whole
12
speech
episodes.
about like being friends and whatever, and he's like, but
Yeah.
you've never once said anything about that, and he's like, well, we're just here to help, man. We're trying to live, and you're like, yeah, Otto, you fucking go. And then that's like Subaru's like, you're right, I have been a dick. I'm sorry, you're my friend.
I wish I could have the blind confidence that Subaru has. Like, he's just like, you know what? I don't have a single clue what the fuck is going on, but we're just gonna go in there head first.
I will say Subaru does suck.
Yeah,
But he does. But I do think the I guess it's not really a flashback. The dream world where you see his mom and dad. And
with
his
like
life,
the trials.
Yeah.
his life and stuff. I did think were very interesting. Delves into his character.
Yeah.
And
It, like,
and the
makes it
people he
make
grew up
sense.
with and stuff. Yeah.
I like that too. I actually think
His parents were pretty cool.
during that, I guess, dream sequence, if you will, in that first trial of like facing your past, I was like, ooh, this is juicy. This is nice, right? And it's like flashback moments, blah, 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 like him with the dad and the mom, who cares, who cares, who cares. But then after it, right? So he comes out of the trial and he's like, wow, I had great parents, but I don't need to be my father. Let's do it to it. I was like, what? Bro, why did you just like wrap that up in like the most goofy, corny way
that's
possible?
so Subaru.
Yeah, I was like, he is a corny loser.
Yeah.
I guess it's true, but I was like, wow,
Yeah.
you just that's the thing. Subaru, whatever like moment the show itself is building up, and you're like, ooh, this is great character development. Let's go, hype, hype, hype. And then Subaru just says words,
Yeah.
and you're like, you literally just ruined all
I
of it.
definitely
Says
think
words, and you're like, fucking
This show
loser.
is great for lots of reasons. Subaru's not one
Honestly,
of them.
I feel like if Subaru was not the main character, and I know like then there wouldn't be a show, if that makes sense. But if Subaru was a side character and somebody else was
he
in
would
the
just
forefront,
be like a comedic relief.
right?
And he
I
wouldn't
feel
be
like
as
this show,
annoying.
my enjoyment of the show would actually go up exponentially.
Yeah. Though even though, I mean, so I was telling Ryan this because when I was telling him, being like, I don't think I watched the second part.
Yeah.
I literally told him, I was like, I actually didn't. I usually hate Subaru. Like, in the last episode, I said I hate him. Like,
Right.
he's awful. In this, I actually do think he has some development, and he didn't bother me as much. And I was like, I've never thought that in my life, and that is why I'm sure that I did not watch this, because Ryan was like, he had so much character development. I was like, where
was it? I wasn't there for it.
Exactly. So he didn't bother me as much. So I actually do appreciate him as the main character versus some just bland guy that does not, like, at least he has the corniness, the personality, like,
Right. I think he's
even
definitely.
though he can be obnoxious.
Yeah, I think he's
But
definitely
it's better
quirky,
than the like milquetoast fucking
right.
whatever main character that a ton of shows have. So,
Right.
but yeah, I agree. Like, if one of the girls was like the main character, that'd be so much better.
I think in terms of having, and again, I'm still not super educated on isekai in general because it's just not really my cup of tea in general. But from what I've heard, usually your main isekai male character is going to be extremely bland and boring, right? So Subaru in comparison does seem like you know, the lesser of two evils.
Subaru
if you
is
will.
one of the more actual person
right.
than
Like, he's
others.
annoying, but you can understand how he could be rooted as a real human being.
Yes.
It's like, it's the reason why people started liking this, and then also like Shield Hero, where he's still kind of bland, but still more than others.
Right.
And I'm trying to think of another example that popped in my head, but it went away. But like, yeah, that's kind of why, like, where it's like, all right, well, you're what we got. So
Right.
Like, so he brings up Shield Hero. Now, Fumi is. Have you seen it?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
But you can say what you need to say because I have no.
He is. He's got, like, I don't know, lots of bad things. I'm trying to, like, not ruin that show, but, like, lots of bad things happen to him. So you, like, the whole show, you're just, like, feeling bad for him. I actually prefer Subaru to Naofumi, even though Naofumi's not obnoxious in any way. So, I don't know. But
Subaru has
he's also-
more. Subaru is a more dynamic character than Naofumi.
Yeah.
Like, Naofumi still has more going on with him than a lot of other isekai characters, but he is blander.
Yeah.
Although, so it's. I mean, I guess it's really just a preference of like what you're going for. Like,
Yeah.
Naofumi's a little more bland, but it also could make him more likable because he's less annoying.
Yeah.
So
So.
I think with Subaru, it's that thing of like the blind confidence, right? But he also is. And I don't know how to describe this because I feel like he is wanting to be so optimistic, positive and uplifting, but at the same time, like, I don't even know if he is buying what he is selling.
I don't
He's
think
not.
he is. He never
yeah,
is.
it
I feel like in the
absolutely
first
is.
season he admits he isn't.
I'm pretty sure he says that. I don't know who he says it to, but he
I'm
definitely.
pretty sure he brings it up to Rem during his big speech where she's like, "I love you," and he's like, "But I am blind confidence. I don't even have faith
Yeah.
in myself."
Right.
Like when he keeps just breaking down, and she's like, "I'll love you anyway. I'll support you anyway." Like, he is admitting to her that he is
Yeah.
never. He's faking it.
Right, but but in season 2, after especially the facing your past trial, actually even the unthinkable present one, he comes out of it and he's like, because he never does the future one, right?
No.
Nope.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Amelia finishes it.
Yeah, she does the future one, but I didn't know if he did.
But
it
he
too.
also doesn't even pass that second trial, right?
No, I don't think he ever does.
Yeah, I don't think.
Oh,
does.
he just does it, but doesn't.
Because
pass
I-
it?
yeah, because I
does it
think-
and then-
Oh, you're right. He
and
doesn't pass it.
pass
Yeah,
Sorry.
because he realizes that Amelia has to be the one to do it. That's why he starts helping her work through her
Right.
shit.
Because his like unthinkable present was like, the times that he like dies.
Yeah,
where
what it
he
looks
doesn't-
like after he has killed
from
himself
not his
or was
perspective.
killed.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he couldn't do it.
Right.
So he just realizes he needs to help Amelia because it's her job, not his. And
Right.
He's just forcing himself upon it.
But yeah, so after the facing the past trial, he's like, oh, okay. And then he gets like an actual boost of confidence, and he's like, okay, this is what I need to do and this is how I can achieve it.
Well, the
and
witches also help him.
True.
So he has that.
But then
development.
when he realizes that Amelia is the one who truly needs to succeed, like in the 3 trials to do the overarching goal of like releasing the barrier or whatever they're trying to do, I feel like you really see him like become a better person. Sure, he's still like very much like corn dog in his delivery, but that's where like I get a little confused with him, right? Because I feel like he realizes he's not the person to do it. He wants to lift her up and like help her out, but the way he talks just still feels like he's like faking it to make it. You know what I mean?
I think he still is for others.
Yeah, I
Like,
think
on a
He, know,
certain
yeah,
extent.
he knows what he's trying to be, and he knows that he no longer needs to like at least lie to himself. But I think in moments he's like, I know what I am and I don't need to lie to myself, but some people still need me to seem confident. And so he's
like
still
the whole town relies on him.
So he's putting it
Right.
on
Like
for
all
like
that.
others.
Yeah.
But I feel like in a way that like he's trying to do that.
He's
but
doing
then
it for the betterment of others.
but like
kind
but
of
he's
thing.
trying to
He says-
slowly get his way back so that way like he's more himself and people will stop expecting that version of him. But he's like, I can't just, it's gone.
Gotcha,
Like I think
gotcha.
I think he's like, I know what I want to be and what I need to be.
So
but
I
these
gotta
people expect me
slowly
here.
tone it down.
Yeah, so he's like, I need to still be that, but I need to, going forward, stop presenting myself as that and start presenting myself as that I need to.
right.
At least in a way, I think
I mean,
that's,
he also just starts like accepting help because he was so set on like,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep resetting this until everybody around me is okay.
Right.
Like,
which
But
is
he-
the big speech that Otto gives. He's like,
Yeah.
you need to, you like, I'm your friend. You've never once said it, but I am here to help you, and you will
Yeah.
never let
Right.
me do
and
it.
that's
Right.
why in that like second half, I don't think he resets once. Like,
No,
I
he
think,
doesn't.
Yeah, the whole time is
Because
like
he
him.
doesn't
commits.
he go
Exactly.
to doesn't he
Roswell.
goes to Roswald and they have that conversation and he's like, look, I'm not gonna reset anymore.
Because Roswell knows that he's been doing it.
Right. But you need to assist in doing X, Y, and Z, right?
Yeah.
So whatever happens, regardless if I die, I'm not gonna start over. Kind
Yeah,
of a
and then
thing.
he starts relying on people, and not just one person, but like everybody
Right.
around him, and not just taking it on all himself. That he's ultimately more successful
Right.
than he's ever
Also,
been.
do we know if the other worlds kept going without him or not? We never
No.
got that answer, right?
No.
It's just left ambiguous.
I think it was just left like that because I was also thinking about that, and I think he asks, and I think it's kind of
realistically,
because they're not real worlds that he was seeing.
Right.
Like it's just the whole like dream world thing. So I think it's left that you don't know if that
realistically,
did
if it
happen.
wants to be fucked up, they absolutely exist.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they did answer it and we just missed it, but I don't think they did. I think it was
Yeah.
left ambiguous.
And then you also get best girl Light Beatrice being the fucking badass and saving everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was just me, but did it feel like they were able to beat like the bunny mob beast way easier than the whale?
Well, yeah,
But the bunny isn't as hard. They say that the point of the bunny is the numbers, not the
Right.
actual
But
damage.
also, they only do it because of Beatrice, and Beatrice obviously doesn't help with the white whale.
Oh,
Humans
okay. I guess
were doing it,
that
and
makes sense.
Rem,
Yeah.
like so it was easier because she transported
They had more
them
magic
so
at their
so
disposal.
they can't get out because
Right.
she's a greater spirit, and so
Okay, that makes sense.
Remind
Yeah.
me again. I know this is in the beginning, but I totally forget. Rem gets forgotten from what again?
Her like
the-
name and
like Bishop, right?
Right. The name of the book.
Gluttony. They like
They
take away
They
her
ate
name.
her memories and her name,
Right.
which then makes everybody forget. But with Cruchet, they only took her memories, so she still had her name, so everybody still remembered her, but she was lost. Like she didn't understand.
Right, because at
what
the
was
end
going on.
they
But
solve
didn't
half
she-
of it, right?
Didn't she have like sparse? memories.
And people were like reminding
Right,
her.
right.
Yeah.
She remembered like very, very slim details.
Yeah.
But people knew
Like
who
she was like you could still tell that she was herself because even
when she's scolding Felix,
yeah, because Felix was saying like, no, this is too dangerous. Like I don't want to see you continue to be like this. She was like, I don't remember anything, but like I don't want to be someone that will just hide.
Right.
Like
You're
I
not
be there and
here
fight.
to speak for me type deal.
Exactly. So like you could tell that she's still herself. She's just,
her
like,
personality
lost.
is still there, but in terms of recollection, it's a little fuzzy.
Yeah.
But speaking of Rem, so I was saying this to Mike too earlier before you got here, that in the final episode where Subaru is being knighted, they're like showing like, you know, they're in like the ballroom or whatever, and Amelia's knighting him, and then it does this pan shot of like the crowd, right, of who's there for his knighting ceremony, and it's like everyone we've been with, great, and then you see Rom. And then in a chair is Rem with like her eyes closed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, did they bring this comatose bitch to the ceremony?
She dressed her up.
And she's dressed up.
Yeah. And
Like, I don't know why.
And she's with like the kids being like, this is my twin sister. Look.
Like something about that just
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
But again, like she doesn't remember her really, right? Like that's the whole thing. Like they just know that she exists.
She felt that her blood was running.
Right,
Yeah.
right. She felt that, but she still doesn't like.
No.
No. So like
she
she's
does
like,
not.
I'm told, and I can.
But she can sense it.
Right, like I'm told this is my twin sister, and like there's clearly something going on, but to her like brain, in a logical sense, she's like, I have no idea who this girl
They
is.
know what happened and why she does it, so they're just like. I mean, obviously, I know that it. So they're just like going along.
And
with
I
it.
think it's a thing of like, it's more of like a primal feeling.
Yeah.
But I do think it's interesting that this season ends and it's all happy and stuff, even though like they didn't solve that problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Like, all right, let's throw this whole huge party, and Subaru's like,
that wasn't the problem to solve. That's not what this season was about, even in the slightest. It was about the sanctuary, and they were successful with the sanctuary,
like,
so that's why they're celebrating.
It still feels really odd that Subaru's like, yeah, all right, giant party, and it's like, hey, the girl that literally is the only reason you got to this far is still being forgotten in a coma. And he's like,
I love Amelia. Like,
Yeah.
he's just like, I'm good.
The girl that said, I will still love you regardless, he's like, anyway,
Also,
I got what I wanted.
also,
I'm officially Amelia's knight.
speaking of Subaru and Amelia, when they have that like funny haha moment of like, I'm pregnant, and he's like, what are you talking about, right? I literally was
Cringiest
watching
shit on the planet.
I was watching that and I was like, did they fuck and I just forgot?
Could you imagine?
Like,
No, they.
what?
That's what they brushed past. They showed all the like little bits, but they brushed past that they
Wait,
had.
I was like, I don't even remember them doing like an implication of closing a bedroom door type deal.
Have either of you watched Futurama?
No.
Some of it, not like.
Do you remember Kif?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember the him and Amy?
Yes.
Okay. I was like, yeah, she reproduces like Kif. If somebody just touches her when she's like aroused, that's it. She's pregnant. That's like a whole alien species. As long as if they fall in love with somebody, anything they physically touch, with like a DNA of somebody, will make them pregnant.
Oh my god.
So it's like that's how she works. She started liking him. Somebody touched her. That's it.
Yeah. But I was
The whole reason is because Puck told her that.
right.
Yeah.
But then I was thinking about it, right? Because I'm
Who
like,
also's gone for the entire season, isn't he?
Well, he breaks the contract.
yeah,
So,
with
Dick
her.
move.
But then we see
But-
him a little bit here and
So
there.
that's the thing, and I didn't want to look it up because since the show has so much to it, I didn't want to accidentally see a spoiler.
Did you look it up anyway?
No,
Oh, okay.
I actually don't know. Like I'm stating that I don't know. I think this may not be true, but I think he broke the contract to be able to help someone else. I don't think. I
Well,
don't
we get-
remember.
we get-
Someone else,
because
like,
he was helping
with-
Rom. Remember
in the cast, you mean?
Yeah.
Or
Because we get
okay.
told that he did it for a reason, right?
Yeah.
He was like, I
He's
did
like,
this
I
for...
wish I could explain.
Yeah.
So I am going to assume he did it so he would be able to help Rom, but they don't exactly say. So like, I'm not sure, but I don't want to look it up and then be like, he actually does it because
of blah blah blah.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh fuck. So I
Right.
just didn't look it up, but I'm gonna assume it was so he could help someone else because since he's
I feel like that's probably.
contracted, I don't
But
know.
even if he's now, because I don't really like super remember the contract aspect of like his bond to Amelia.
I think that's explained in the movie, and I haven't seen.
Oh, I haven't
OVA.
seen it either.
Which one?
The Forbidden Bonds. Or
Frozen Bond.
Frozen Bonds. Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought, OVA, not a movie.
Oh, I thought it was a movie.
Because even like when I know in season 1, like he was obviously helping Amelia with stuff, but could she not be like, okay, I need you to go assist X, Y, and Z person?
I don't know. Again, that's like something that there's a lot of things that are in this show that are like complicated, but I just don't want to risk looking
into it and then getting spoiled for like future stuff.
So there's just stuff that I am also confused about, but I just don't want to.
You just assume there'll be an answer at some point.
Yeah. So that's definitely one of them. Because I think he did it to like help, but that might not be it because he was saying like, but also when they were doing the flashbacks of when he got Amelia out of the ice.
I guess you're right. I mean, it labels it as a movie and not an OVA. So.
Yeah.
All right. Totally thought they were OVAs.
He's crying and she doesn't know who he is, and he's just like, oh yeah, you don't know like my name, but it's clear that he knows her. I'm assuming that's explained in the movie.
Gotcha.
But I haven't seen
I
it
have
yet.
watched it, but I haven't watched it in a while,
yeah.
so I don't remember.
I've been meaning to, and I just haven't gotten to it. Same with the other one, which I don't know if that one's also counted as a movie.
It is counted as a movie, yeah.
That one's Memory of Snow.
Yes.
Yes.
Compared to season 1, I felt like there was less, because in season 1, I felt like there was a couple of like good, just really sticks the landing endings for an episode, right? Where I feel like in season 2, because it feels more like a movie and there's just so much to get through that they're just plowing through it.
But I feel like that's also because there's no reset. Like,
but that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like season 2 overall feels almost more blurry.
Yeah.
Like, the moments are not like as hard hitting and defined because they're just like, we cannot stop to think about this. Just keep going. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And there's no intro, outro. Like, it's
like
just,
there's no break to be like, okay, now I'm gonna sit here and like, stew in what just happened. We just got to immediately move on.
Okay, so they are labeled in the names as OVAs, but for some reason on Mao they're typed as movies. But they are OVAs.
No one cares.
I don't know. I was just
it does not matter to me.
I was trying to find the English names, and it
doesn't
just
matter to me if they're
OVAs,
a movie, OVA. Like, does not matter to me. This separate thing that I have not watched. So that.
They're both good.
I'm assuming it's explained in that.
Right.
Because I know that that's in the movie, the OVA. Sorry. But, so, I don't know. I assume it's explained more in that. But.
Also,
how does she grow up in ice? I assume they'll explain that in it, but.
Who knows? Not me.
I don't know.
I just assumed it was like time travel weirdness kind of thing.
No, but they showed that she froze everybody.
True. And
So.
she was frozen.
She was not.
She was. She was encased Steve Rogers style.
In the OVA, everybody is ice, and she's walking around talking to them.
No, we're talking about in season 2.
Puck gets her out, and then she goes around talking.
But she
to
was still a child.
In the OVA.
Huh? She grows up with him.
So how did Puck find her as an adult? I don't know.
So maybe she turns everyone to ice.
No. She meets Puck, and then I think
prior to turning everyone to ice.
No. After, but I think she forgets about him because he chooses that and meets her again later.
So that's what it is. So she gets frozen again.
No, she never gets frozen again.
The town just doesn't get unfrozen.
Yeah, the town's always frozen.
I really thought that Puck. Oh no! I guess Puck just says that he couldn't find. No, she was naked. I thought she was frozen. I don't know. I don't know. I have to watch it and then I'll understand. Doesn't matter. It's whatever. It's not part of season 2, so it's fine.
Yeah. I just had a question. I don't know if I was just too stupid to understand what was going on, but the Witch of Envy is Amelia.
No.
She just looks like her.
I am
like
pretty
identical
sure
twins.
That she's her daughter.
Amelia's daughter.
No,
Satella is the mother.
of Amelia. Amelia is the daughter of.
Because I'm not sure that that's true, but there was little things
But that makes sense because they were always saying that she is a witch.
Yes.
And blah blah blah.
And then Mother Fortuna is talking about her brother, who would be the elf.
Right.
And then Satella's the witch. So if they had a kid, it would be a half elf with silver hair.
Right.
Whatever. Because Minerva makes a comment about her mother, like knowing her mother and everything. Who else makes a comment? People keep saying.
But weren't they saying, and now correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like in season 1 when towards the beginning when they were going through like the whole who we're going to decide to like rule our kingdom type deal, right? And you have the candidates, and then when Amelia is announced to be a candidate, the townspeople or whoever, clergy, were like, no, she's a witch and she's the witch of envy. Did they not say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were saying she has the exact description.
She has the silver hair and everything. And whatnot.
she
Everybody thinks
knows-
she is because she looks exactly as the
But
description.
so she was saying, I don't know, like her. It's just like a weird coincidence because she doesn't know who her mother is. Like so in the memories, like which she didn't even remember the memories when Puck left. Puck was like repressing that for her. So when Puck left, she had to like face it all and then remember everything. But you see in the memory, she still doesn't know who her parents are.
Right.
But yeah, and then like Mother Fortuna also makes like a comment about her mother, like when she's dying, being like, "Oh, your mother's gonna be so mad at me," like all this different stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure, though it's not stated that
she's her daughter.
That's what I think because of these little like mother comments that were like said.
That would make the most sense in terms of context
for some
clues.
reason, and Satella killed Echidna, so like,
right?
I feel like that could make sense.
She could also be Satella reborn.
But Satella's still alive, I thought.
No, because
do we know that?
I thought Satella was the only witch alive. She killed all the other witches. Is that not true?
I don't remember.
Because isn't that why everybody thinks that she's Satella, because Satella is still alive?
Wait, can I ask a question?
I don't know.
Because
I thought they just thought that
because
in
season 1, when we first see Satella and it's like the hands and stuff on Subaru,
but you don't see her face until season 2,
right?
Yeah,
but I'm saying in those experiences, would she not have to be alive in some way to interact with him?
No, because Echidna reaches out to him all the time.
But isn't she only reaching out to him in
the graveyard?
You know what I mean? Can't she only reach out to him in that specific location?
Well, Satella can only reach out to Subaru in a specific way.
No, in season 1.
No, yeah, she was
interacting with him. Well, we don't see her physically.
Can we talk about how bad I feel for Betelgeuse?
I know, right? I was like, damn, he really got
adorable.
Like he got the short end of the stick.
I feel the most fucking tragic.
He was honestly, he just wanted to have a wholesome family relationship, and he just got fucked over.
I know.
Like he was just trying his best to protect the people he loves, and he was like, "This is what I gotta do."
And then he killed Fortuna on accident because of stupid Pandora.
I know.
Okay, wait. So this is another thing that I was confused about, but I didn't want to look it up.
Look in Mike's eyes right now.
I totally forgot what's happening. What?
This is another thing that I didn't want to look up because I was scared what I was going into. But so there's the main witches. Was there 7 of them?
Yes.
For like the 7 sins or whatever. But then they started talking about these other witches, like Pandora is like a vanity. There was a different
gluttony.
Well, those are bishops to the main witches,
right? But
Pandora was her own witch, and I think there was a second witch that was like her.
So from my understanding, at least within the context of the show, the 7 witches we see, minus maybe the Witch of Envy, those witches are all dead.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. They're all in their own kind of like spiritual astral plane realm type deal thing. Mm-hmm. Right? And I think the witches that we see, like you're saying, like Vanity and what was the other one?
I texted Ryan about it. But Pandora is
Pandora,
Vanity.
yeah. So you have Pandora and like the Witch of Envy, and then you have the Bishop of Greed and Gluttony, right? So I think they are witches.
But Gluttony is one of the main ones.
Okay, so
but you said they're bishops of them. So I think they just represent them because either we haven't met / there isn't a replacement for the main witch of the main sin, if that makes sense.
It says current is Satella.
So
Former is everybody else.
Yes.
And then it says, and then there's others current, witch of Vain and Glory, which is
that's
Pandora.
The vanity.
And then there's someone that's not labeled as a witch, so I don't know if they show up yet. So I'm not gonna say that. But so then I guess Satella is real.
Witch, and then so there's just all.
It doesn't have Amelia listed here.
But she says that she says to Echidna that she's the frozen witch.
I think that it must be in terms. Now I don't know if this is in terms of power.
Melancholy. This dude.
Oh yes.
Because I was like, who the fuck? And they barely explained.
Oh, okay, yeah. That was the one I didn't say because I didn't remember.
We see him for one episode.
He's called the Warlock of Melancholy.
Yeah, and I was like, what are these things?
And
I don't.
I was really confused too because so you get the I think it was the Bishop of Greed and Gluttony, right?
Yeah.
So you see them at the beginning of season 2, and I was like, ooh, these are really cool villains to be hyping up. Like I'm ready to see them train and fight and all this good stuff and see how they progress, right? Literally dropped them completely.
Well, no.
20 episodes goes by and I was like, they're back. Where the fuck were you guys?
One of them goes back.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I feel like this show in general has that kind of weird pacing issue.
But I feel like that's how it has to be how the light novel is, that it just doesn't.
I'm sure because, but maybe in the light novel they have more.
I mean, they're still alive. Pandora just transported him somewhere else. So
they just pieced out.
Yeah, they're well, actually, so that's actually first, and then he shows up again, and that's when he takes.
But then isn't when he shows up again, is when. They're there with Vanity.
After the white whale. No. So the first time, Pandora with him, which I can't remember what the hell his name is, the white-haired one.
Something stupid. I remember being annoyed at his name.
Yeah, he said it.
Hold on, let me look it up because I remember being annoyed with his name because it was stupid.
It's just you need to look at me when I speak. Yeah, don't interrupt me.
Yeah.
But him. And then Pandora was like, all right, get the fuck out.
Right.
I'm busy. And she transports him
Regulus Corneus.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it being something stupid.
But so that's the past. That's when Amelia's a child. So we see him again in the future, which is the beginning of season 2.
Right.
With Rem, which is when he shows up with the Bishop of Gluttony.
Right.
So.
And then he shows up again with.
No, he doesn't show up again.
He doesn't show up again. No, doesn't he show up? Not with. When they're having that conversation, it's him and Vanity. You're saying that was in the flashback? Not flashback, but the
past that's
past
when she's
sequence?
Because Fortuna is still alive.
Oh,
and
you're right. Sorry. Yes.
That drives him crazy right then. So
sorry, I got that mixed up in my brain.
So you see it afterwards, but that's actually
in the past.
The first time he would be around.
So then, in terms of let's say timeline-wise, we see him in the past, right? First time.
No. The first time you see him is the future, because it's with Rem.
Right, but I'm saying, chronologically.
Oh, when we see him.
So we see him with Amelia in the past.
Yeah.
And then we'll see him with Rem.
Yeah.
But then after that, we don't see him again?
No. Because...
Well, you just
pieced
out?
They get Rem out of there.
True.
So, did they actually talk about how they got her out? Did he just leave?
I think they just dip. I could be completely wrong.
I actually didn't even talk about that because they get Crochet and Rem out. I don't know. It's a good question. I didn't really think about it.
I don't know.
They're just back at the mansion.
No,
they're at Crochet's mansion.
I was gonna say because they have all the
isn't
fallen soldiers, right?
Yeah. Isn't the original girl that's has a bunch of the clones? Isn't she a witch?
No.
Well, because she's made
Isn't she a great spirit?
She's made by Echidna. Doesn't that make her?
Her clones were made, but wasn't she not made?
Her name's Omega, right?
Ryuzu.
Right, but doesn't she have a title? I don't know. I thought she had a title.
From my understanding, the first one, the OG,
right,
pre to being crystallized, I think the first one is a great spirit. And then when she gets crystallized and they make the barrier, the copies of her are made by Echidna. And they're essentially just clones. Mm-hmm. But I could be wrong. But I feel like the first one they do...
I actually don't remember what they explained about her.
Ryuzu is considered a witch.
Okay.
Because she's made by a part of Echidna.
Is that why she was being bullied?
I guess.
The first one is a witch.
Because, because...
What is she the witch of?
It just says Omega. It doesn't even give her a witch of anything. It lists her as
maybe she's like
thing.
A tertiary
well,
witch.
Because Echidna being stuck in there but not dead.
Right.
Because she's not dead, but she is. Because her soul is trapped in there, but her body's destroyed or whatever.
Her soul exists, but her physical body is not real.
She was able to give a portion of herself to Ryuzu, which means she is technically a witch. Because she has
like
a part of a witch
Horcrux?
in her.
But she was still alive, I thought, Echidna.
Do you want to read this out?
But, okay, in the show, when they show the flashback of Roswell, Beatrice, and Ryuzu, they talk to, like, a kid, like, she's there.
That's 400 years ago.
No, I know.
So that's when she... So what Mike is saying...
It literally says she is only a witch in name. She has no ability... Yeah, she has no abilities in... being that she is just that because of the fact that she has Echidna's like essence within her, that she is that, but she does not have a witch factor, so she is only a witch in name.
So I think to answer your question, in those flashbacks that are 400 plus years prior,
Echidna is there.
Echidna is
She's
physically
alive.
there with her body, but whatever is the catalyst for putting up like the barrier and then having like Ryuzu and the crystal and then the clones, once that happens, then it's just her soul and no physical body.
Yeah, I just felt like they breezed by Melancholy like too fast. Like
he was here and gone
because they were like he's coming.
Who
like
the fuck is him?
Exactly, and then when he says he's melancholy or whatever, they're like, okay, shit, we got to put up this barrier, and then like that's it. And it's like, okay, if he's this much of a menace that you're like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna do this barrier? How are we gonna be strong enough?
Right?
Who is he? Like, why are we just like brushing?
That's what I was saying. Like, I feel like there's a weird pacing with the show because while yes, I think it's excellent that you can just kind of watch it like a movie. I actually really enjoy that, but I do feel like it suffers from doing way too much. Mm-hmm. I think if they had it,
I think it's because they didn't want to separate the arc, like they just wanted to like finish it off.
But I just think if they had done like a little bit more tight writing, which yes, maybe you would have to like lose some things from the adaptation from the light novel, and if they're trying to do as close to 1-to-1, I get it. But I think it hurts it a little bit. Yeah. Like, I don't think it's terrible, but there were like, moments where I noticed that things were weird.
This is stuff that I wish like I could look up, but I just fear of what I'll find.
There's a fun little trivia thing here that's not a spoiler.
Go
I
ahead.
think it's funny. According to the author, in terms of common sense of the witches ranked, so who has the most to least common sense?
Okay.
Wait, you didn't say who your favorite witch was.
Favorite
Minerva.
witch or favorite girl?
Minerva? Let's go.
Minerva's awesome.
Minerva. I don't know if they could see that on camera.
I don't remember how to say this person's name.
Sekhmet?
Yeah, so Sekhmet's first.
Which one's Sekhmet?
She's the one lying down.
Oh, Sloth.
Yep.
Carmilla, Daphne, Echidna, Minerva, and Typhon. And then
Typhon, isn't she actually a child?
Yeah, and then it says Satella isn't included because she doesn't even have a word like that in her dictionary.
LOL.
Anyway, we should probably...
Yeah, but last thing I'll say is the reason why it's like really crucial to like not look shit up is the author is so like pins like with the lines and everything.
Oh,
like, in
he's
the house.
doing the one piece. His whole house is
because there's so much that's in it, and he's.
Is it done yet?
So apparently, I don't think so. Sekhmet says something. I don't remember what it is. Ryan just told me this today. Sekhmet says something while they're having their tea party, like, and Subaru's there. And apparently, she is literally spoiling something from later. It comes back up.
Oh, so doing
And
One Piece.
And so people are like, no way. He already knew that the plot was going to like go here like from then. And
yeah, so he probably had it all planned out beforehand.
yeah. So because of that,
I mean,
I don't want to like Google anything
Right.
because maybe it's purposely
right.
ambiguous so you find out more later.
Right.
So I'm just like going with it. But maybe
It is not done.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
All right. Well, I guess it starts with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do we rate the separate parts as separate?
No.
No, I think because we viewed it as
Unless
a collective.
you really want to, I
No.
guess you
I mean, I
could.
gave them the same rating originally,
Okay. I
so
was like, if you want to.
So I think minus the downside of them being absolutely no REM in this season, which is a crime against humanity. I think that the season is better than season 1. I think there's a lot more going on. There's a lot more character interactions. A lot more characters have more agency and interesting interactions and just everything going on. So I'd give this a 9. And I would recommend it. I think it's fantastic, and I hope season 3 also rocks. And yeah, yeah. That's it.
I genuinely don't remember what I gave for season 1, but I feel like yes, season 2 is definitely better in that. Only because season 1 just had a lot more legwork to do.
You gave it a 6.
I gave season 1 a 6. Oh, perfect, because I was going to give season 2 a 7. So, yeah, I definitely think it's better than season 1. I do agree that there is a lack of REM, but it's not really her fault. She's in a coma. So we can't really fault her on that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like overall, there's just more satisfying character development and like actual through line for emotional arcs, whereas season 1 I felt like was lacking a little bit, and then it just felt a little like you were building to something but never got there, if that makes sense. I like that Amelia gets a chance to have a backbone, because I felt like the whole season was trying to build to that.
Yeah.
But I really was getting worried that they were never gonna give her that. So when she finally gets it, I was like, oh, thank God. Because, girl, she
I mean,
just
that happens
needed...
a lot in shows that they
but
just never get
but you know
it.
what I mean? I was like,
Yeah.
because I think for her character, she needed so badly to just, put whatever she was feeling out there and actually express herself. So I thought that was really satisfying for her. Other people, I thought had satisfying arcs. So I would say I would recommend it, like, especially compared to other isekai. From what I've heard, this seems like it's
Yeah.
a little less trite and generic.
Yeah, I would definitely say it's up there for isekais because a lot of them are like really bland.
Right. So I think compared to what I've heard, this doesn't seem so bland. And if it continues to get better, then that's even, good for them.
Did she recommend season 1?
I have no idea.
I think so, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like I said in season 1 it wasn't really for
6
me.
is
Yes,
pretty
yes.
low, so I was just
She did,
curious.
she did
Just
recommend it.
never know.
She did recommend it.
I think it's fine, but
Mhm.
I do think this is better than season 1. So
Yeah.
I'd give it a 7.
Okay.
Seems reasonable.
I love this series. Obviously, I didn't even bring all of my ReZero shit. I have.
She said she did 3 trips to her car and then went, I don't want to do anymore.
Yeah, I literally was like, I can't. Like, I have, and
Endless boxes.
yeah, like I have another 1/7 of ROM. I have like
Hey, if you got this statue, be careful when you're taking out the chain.
When you're taking it out of the packaging.
Yeah, to the mace thing, the flail, whatever it is. Be careful about that.
oh my god. So obviously I love this series. I feel like we only like dusted the surface of this season. I feel like we could have done like a 4-hour episode to really
I
try
feel like
and,
I could definitely talk more in depth
yeah,
about
like
things
deep
that
dive.
happen.
We didn't even talk about her past. We didn't really go into the witches. Like there's just so much to it. Like I almost feel like I need to watch season 2 again, just to like really digest
I mean,
everything.
if we want, we could always dedicate another episode to it.
Where Michael will actually watch it so he can remember clearly what happened.
Because he did not do the rewatch.
Or we can just boot Michael and a cat and I can talk in depth because we're educated.
But that would also be good if we like went episode by episode.
Like a more in-depth breakdown.
Yeah.
I would be down to do like a very deep dive.
I feel like we just wouldn't make it the podcast. We'd make it some separate thing.
Well, it could be like a special.
Yeah. Oh yeah, well,
like
if you're doing episode by episode, I'm saying like a separate, like, I don't know, like some kind of.
We just gotta do it soon so I don't forget.
We'd have to record 25 episodes.
You gotta take notes.
That's true.
You'd have to do 25 episodes for that.
Oh my god, you know what you should do? So
What?
when I was watching Evangelion, I did a pros and cons on Evangelion. I think I took about like 30 pages worth of notes.
Yeah, I remember you talking about this.
I personally really love the experience of doing episode by episode of like what I thought. I would highly recommend it if you're like really want to get into like.
I mean,
I'm
not saying we shouldn't. We could set up like a little like different area for it to look like.
What we could always do if we wanted, because nobody is like, out of our 100 subscribers, be like, we need this. Like, this is gonna come out like now. We could always just be like, okay, we're gonna do episodes 1 through 5, and then they could just be and then we just take notes by it, so it's like easier to digest. Yeah, and then.
Well, I was thinking, like, because what we could do is.
But you could just hold the footage if you want it to be one thing. Is what I mean.
Anyway,
like,
can we wrap this episode?
Can we wrap this up?
Okay, whatever. But yeah,
we can talk about this a different time.
Sorry, I was just trying to plan. We never have plans.
Well, we can have them, just not on air,
I guess. I think I gave it a 9. I want to say.
Last season, or now?
Season 2. Oh, yeah, means.
I think I gave it a 9. I'd stick with 9. I really like it. I love Amelia. I love Minerva. There's lots of characters. Everybody but Subaru, pretty much.
Right.
So just because of everybody else's development, like, I just feel like it's a really, really great show. And every time I watch it, I feel like I appreciate more and more than like when I was, especially because this is one of the first shows I watched, and I really enjoyed it. But now I like appreciate it more, I feel like. But so obviously I'd recommend it. I did recommend it. And Mike, what are we watching?
We're gonna be watching Anohana. So if you feel nothing, you're dead inside.
Soul.
Okay.
That's so Anohana is about.
Can you even say what it's about though?
It's a show about grief.
Is it a mystery show?
It's a show about grief.
It's not a mystery.
Oh.
It's a show about it is a show about grief and dealing with it.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good, very quick synopsis.
And that is all I'm going to say. And if we come back in 5 weeks and Kat has anything negative or a vastly negative opinion on this show, you can disregard anything she has ever said.
I actually know in my brain right now 2 things that she's gonna critique. I'm not gonna say it.
I'll plug my ears if you want to say it.
No, I'm not gonna say it, but I know right now 2 things that she'll critique.
Yeah. So.
Okay, so when we're recording this, make sure before I get in the house, you record you saying it to the camera, the 2 things I'm going to critique.
Oh, that would be so
and then I'll
good.
Come in and we'll see if I say it.
Oh my god, that would be excellent.
Yeah, so I am going to leave the description for Anohana at that. If you don't know what Anohana is, do yourself a favor, please watch it.
Watch it blind. Don't look up anything.
Just go into it.
And it's only 11 episodes.
Yeah, it's very, short. Very easy to watch. Well, it's easy to watch time-wise. It's something everybody should watch. And especially if you enjoy anime, it is arguably perfect.
Yeah.
And so enjoy that. We will see you guys in 5 weeks to talk about it. So yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, leave a review, follow. Thank you for watching this week's episode. Check out Kat the Moonstar on Twitch, and we will see you guys next week for whatever we talk about.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.